Hello and welcome to Brilliance Today, where individuals let their brilliance shine through their stories, expertise and philosophy, because they're on a mission to make a difference and leave a legacy. Introducing Brenda Dempsey, publisher, speaker and TV presenter. Get ready to be inspired.
Hello and welcome to Brilliance Today. This is where we surround ourselves with brilliance so you can be inspired and influenced into action. And today's guest is Ryan Nicholas Leong Wieren. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, Ryan, but over to you. Please introduce yourself and share who you are and what you do.
Okay, so hello Brenda, thank you for having me on Brilliance Magazine. My name is Ryan. I am a Genius Generation youth coach, the first in Singapore, probably the world, right? And my goal is to evolve youth to stretch their career dreams, genius style. Okay, why genius style? It's kind of borrowed from Roger James Hamilton and his creation of the Genius Framework. I'm not sure you know him though, Brenda.
Yes, I do. I know him very well. Okay. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so, sorry, I thought you were going to continue.
Yes.
My goodness. We have had, just so the listeners can, we did have a wee couple of minute conversation before we started. But now you've talked about Roger Hamilton. That's doubly the reason why this conversation is going to be continued for sure. So let people need to understand things. You know that. So let's hear your words of inspiration as to what is Genius Generation.
Yes. Well, Genius Generation started because of an observation that I made, and also the feedback that I got from a lot of people, that the current education system tends to box our young ones up, right? And the thing is, it hasn't evolved for over centuries, which what Roger has also highlighted in many of his summits. And the thing is, education isn't evolving, but the problems we are facing in our world are. So all the VUCA problems, wars, climate change, you name it, right? All these are just affecting us very badly these past few years. But the thing is, in order to solve these problems, we actually need to elevate our consciousness. And that is what Genius Generation aims to do. So we actually go right down to the root cause of the problem and to see what exactly or how exactly is the education system currently failing our students. So for example, students are not being taught in ways that are natural to them. For example, how do they learn? How do they process information, right? What interests do they have actually that could make learning easier for them? So this is a root cause that we tackle at the very start. And from there, we build it up into social behaviors that are acceptable, that are empowering, right? I actually grew up in an environment where there was a lot of toxic behavior. Yeah, and it actually just spread down across the generations after much research and analyzing the situations I was in. So I was kind of disturbed, and I was wondering that, why would I want to let this continue down when I can actually use the power of education to resolve these problems? It's just like how long ago slavery was a thing, but now it is not. Mm-hmm. So I believe in the similar vein, right? The toxic behaviors of what we're experiencing today, like for example, misogyny, will definitely be the thing of the past in the future. Yes. Through education.
Absolutely. And that's I think that's global. It's global right now, and it's education. And as an educationalist myself, I'm echoing everything that you're saying for sure. Even although I'm a different generation to you, I think we have the same vision. And having worked in an education system that's over 200 years old, and they're still teaching children in the same way, oh my goodness, there's no progress there. Yes. So I believe, Ryan, you're an inspiration for other young people and adults, for sure, everybody. But what drives you to be the best version of yourself?
Well, it stems from a personal experience. So when I was young, at the age of 12 years old, I actually had cancer. Yeah, childhood cancer. So that kind of woke me up to the fragility of life, how time is very precious. And after recovering, I saw it as a second chance at life. Yeah. So that what motivated me to make the best out of every breathing second that I had. Yeah. So I used that to empower myself, to help other people along the way as well. And I also made a lot of mistakes actually. So failures actually helped to build me up to the person I am today. So I was focusing too much on academic grades. In the process, I neglected my emotional intelligence, and that's where I got into a lot of trouble actually with teachers,
Love
with
it.
with friends who are sadly no longer my friends. All right, but it still pains me to this day to recall such memories. So I resolved myself that I would develop myself holistically going forward, right? Yeah, and I think one very powerful event that affected me was when I lost one of my friends. He actually drowned, and the thing is that he was just fairly younger than me and had so much ambition for the world. And to just suddenly hear of his death was very shocking to me. Yeah, and it made me realize that
Yeah.
there are a lot
And,
of
and do you know what? Sorry to interrupt you, but I resonate with you so much because the first child I knew that died was a friend, and she was 9 when I was at primary school. It impacts you for the rest of your life. You know, you don't always think about it, but I don't think about her every day, but she comes up a lot, even to this day. 50 years plus more, she comes into my mind, and I talk about that, and I think that's what we've got to do. But wow, it's such an inspiration when you've overcome such deep adversity, but you use it to good use. You take the lessons, and that's what I believe, that's what evolving education is. But I want you to explain to the listeners what you mean by being a flow consultant.
So Roger Hamilton's Flow Consultant Program is one that empowers people to be in their engrossed state of doing. So it involves things like, for example, playing the music that you love to get you into the mood, learning in a way that excites you, right? Using interest to make the content more relevant. So all these, when they compound, right? All these elements compound to put you into a state of flow. And state of flow is very important because through this, you're actually doing your best work. You are not worried by external pressures. You can actually focus on creating what you believe empowers yourself, what you believe empowers the world. And it's just a magical moment. And the thing about humans is that we can identify such effort. One look you can say, oh, I know this guy really put his heart and soul into this work. And that is what I want to be known for, to create work with pure heart and soul. And others can take inspiration also and create their own work.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, you can see me, well, the listeners won't be seeing me, but I'm beaming from ear to ear. I'm clapping, I'm nodding, because, I love Roger Hamilton myself. So a lot of that is resonating with me. And all the words you're using, holistic. We talk about holistic publishing, because you can't just develop a part of someone. You've got to develop the whole of someone. And exactly. For me, it's so exciting, and I feel so humbled and honored to be having this chat with you today. But there's something else. You've come up with some amazing phrases, and we really need to get these phrases out into the world. So another one that you use is anti-fragile. And I love this because you talk about how it takes you beyond resilience. Can you explain that, please? Because that is something I think is so vital for us to be in that flow.
Very true, Brenda. Because with the world nowadays, right, things evolve so quickly. So in order to just stay resilient, right, it's not enough. I feel that as the adversity comes, we should be able to quickly learn and bounce back even greater than before, right? So it's not a matter of holding out, it's rising up and better. Yeah, I think a relevant example would be ChatGPT itself. When they entered the education market, everyone was wondering, whoa, how is this going to change the face of education for the future? And there was a lot of negative sentiment about it, right? But the thing is, how do we learn from this and rise up such that we integrate AI into our daily lives rather than try to wait it out, or wonder like, oh, is this gonna take my job? Is this gonna do this? Is it gonna do that? And then all this worrying compounds into negative actions that don't actually help us. In fact, it pushes us down into a spiral of bitterness or even discouragement.
Absolutely, and so I love that anti-fragile, and you used the word fragile earlier. You talked about the fragility of life, and life is very fragile. So actually finding something that's anti-fragile, and we can also think of resilience as bounce back ability, but when we use anti-fragility, it's how high we bouncing, and we're bouncing back bigger and better and bolder, so oh, I am absolutely buzzing, and I hope you're buzzing too, listening to this, because
exactly.
it's fantastic. Can you tell us, as we move forward into this genius generation, what is contained in a diverse portfolio of skills?
Well, Genius Generation Youth Coaching has a tiered program that looks at 5 key aspects. And these key aspects are something that the current education program doesn't really focus on, right? So just allow me some time, I will elaborate very quickly. The first tier is learning how you learn, right?
Yes.
So everyone learns in a different way. So we definitely make sure we get that right from the start with every child, right? That comes through Genius Generation. Then on, we move to the skills they can learn. For example, how to diffuse a tense situation, which is something that all of us will face eventually at some point in our lives. How to develop adaptability when disruption comes by, right? So all these kind of common situations, we record them and we build up a kind of a hack sheet or a reference sheet that kids, even adults, can use to grow in situations, right? So already you know how you learn. You have all these super hack sheets to help you out in everyday situations. Then you move on to learn from exemplary role models, be it from ancient history, even from works of fiction also,
Yes.
right? Because the kids, they love fiction, the anime, characters and all that. And these actually draw inspiration from real life figures, right? So why not expand the pool, learn from all these people, what skills they use to overcome adversity. So you have a very huge perspective and diverse mindset of all these people, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3 tiers already, right? And then the next level of awesome comes when you can utilize entrepreneurship education. Yeah, so instead of just finding a job, you're also able to create your own job. Actually, that's what I did actually. I created my own job through the entrepreneurship programs that Roger was offering, right? So 4 levels are awesome. The last one is creative thinking, right? Creative thinking and collaborating while you're doing creative thinking. Yeah, I actually was just watching on Disney Plus the Imagineering story, how Walt Disney trains his people to be future thinking, future forward, because tomorrow can easily become yesterday, right? And if we don't evolve in time, the problems we face can actually overwhelm us, and doom us. So it is vital to have that imagination, that creative mindset, so that we can problem solve for the new economy ahead. So Brenda, that's 5 levels of awesomeness that will actually complement what the kids already know in school, right? Their technical skills.
Yeah, I love it. And these things, this is what's missing from education. And as we've evolved, we've already said it, we're still operating like 200 years ago. That is not on, and we need people like you, and we need the future thinkers. We also need experience of what not to do in order to evolve into what do we need to create, and what is that environment got to look like. So we've kind of touched on the future of education, but how would you say that you can influence it on a global stage?
So the strategy was to partner with Roger's company, Entrepreneur Institute. I'll say that again, Entrepreneur Institute and Genius U. So what this platform allows us to do is that we can put micro degrees up there, right? micro degrees, content, they can actually be translated by partners around the world, right? So since this is a global platform, translation can happen, the content can reach to all cultures across the globe. And eventually this can help to spread the message of an evolving education.
Oh, I love that. So you're right. You're absolutely right. Why are we not making better use of the internet on a global stage to find these awesome platforms where people from across the world can come and translate it so everyone can benefit from, like what you've just explained, those 5 levels. That's genius. That's genius in
actually,
action.
Brenda, and actually this is just the beginning, because I also plan to reach out to the local schools in Singapore where I am, right, to complement their plans for education in the future too.
Yeah.
And also planning to see how I can utilize AI and the metaverse to bring education to the underprivileged or to the disabled, right?
Yeah.
Because with the internet, it's accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. Ryan, what do you do to relax when you're not being a genius?
Wow. Well, I like to spend time in nature. So I actually just walk down in the park in the evening, put on some inspiring music. Yeah. And while I'm doing that, I would reflect on past achievements, what can be done better, while also innovating for the future ahead. Yeah. So actually that's my mind. It's a hive of activity all the time. So I thought I'd just use it to put it to good use.
I recognize it. My mind doesn't stop myself.
Yeah. It's quite...
I feel like you're a soul brother, you use the same language as me, we think the same, there might be time difference in our age, but actually age is just a physical a human concept. Actually our spirits are one, and this is just a union, and I'm loving it, and I hope people are feeling the energy, and that these words that have been spoken here today are the future today. So you do really need to be listening and find out more about Ryan. So, Ryan, last question. Can you believe we've got 10 questions already?
Wow, I'm so engrossed in sharing that. I didn't notice.
We're going to have you back for sure. So last question is, I love words of wisdom because they come from insight. And actually, I know what I was wanting to say to you before I finish this question. You talked about reflection. So I was trained as a reflective practitioner, and it's very, very important that we do reflect on a daily basis, even hour by hour. Every time we do something, did I give that my best? Can I make it better? How can I make it better? And it's not something you do to put you down. It's something you do to inspire you and uplift you. And, you might not have used that phrase, but boy, can I tell Ryan that you do that. So, last question. What 3 words of wisdom would you like to share with the listener and audience today that can inspire them to take some action?
Wow, 3 words. Okay. I will say this: ignite your genius.
Yes.
Ignite your genius.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 words like that. Yeah, ignite your genius. And okay, I want one more thing, because I love helping people so much. I love supporting. What's the first step you need to take to ignite your genius?
Well, right here on the screen, which is the Genius Generation Youth Coaching Global Telegram channel. Yes, so all you need to do is scan the QR code, log onto there, and you'll see all the resources that you can look at to transform your mindset and be on the journey to ignite your genius.
Oh, I love that, Ryan. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's about fusing mind, heart, and soul into the one brilliance that we are. And today, everyone, you have been witnessing and listening to the ripples of brilliance, and that's what Brilliance Today is all about. So until the next time, this is Brenda saying, be brilliant, much love, and toodle pip.
That's it for this episode of Brilliance Today. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. For more information or to contact Book Brilliance Publishing, visit bookbrilliancepublishing.com. And remember, do different. Be brilliant.